You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Are you ready to learn the 3 secrets to launching a successful podcast? Hi, I'm Bill, a recent client of the Podcast Mogul. If you've been thinking about starting a podcast but aren't sure where to begin, he's got you covered. He is hosting a free webinar where he will share the 3 secrets that can help you launch, grow, and monetize your podcast without any fancy equipment or technical headaches. Click the link in the show notes to save your spot now and let him help get your podcast off the ground.
Welcome to Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. Join the podcast mogul Phil Better as he interviews successful entrepreneurs that make their living in the digital world. Now, let's join your host, Phil Better, and his special guest today on Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Phil Better, the podcast mogul, and I'm very excited to introduce our guest today. They have the privilege of hosting, we have the privilege of hosting a true leader in the field of biotech and digital wealth, someone whose expertise and innovation have paved the way for transformative change. So I want you all to put your hands together for my remarkable guest, Charmin Moore. Charmin, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Phil, for having me. I am so excited to be co-creating with you for this time that we have together. This is awesome.
Oh, I'm very excited for this. In actuality, you're the first abundance quest person, someone who looks into the world of abundance, but also comes from the world of biotech, being a registered nurse. So this is going to be a very interesting question. But as always, I would like to know, why did you become an entrepreneur?
I became an entrepreneur because I can't bring my whole self, everything that I am, in corporate, right? They don't allow that. They've got your boxes that they want to check off. They've got their limitations. And quite frankly, they don't care about the whole person. Let's just be honest, right? And as an entrepreneur, you can bring your best self to the job every day because it's yourself. So I can honestly say that it was by happenstance. It wasn't something like I said, I want to grow up and be an entrepreneur. That's not it, right? But I'm a leader, naturally, just a natural leader. And as a natural leader, you will have that yearning or that it'll internally, you'll be at the job and you won't be satisfied. You won't be satisfied. You won't be satisfied. And you've got to figure that out. And you may just realize that, wait a minute, I'm an entrepreneur and I've got to do more and be more. And these people aren't going to allow that. And that's on you. You got to do something about it.
So you became an entrepreneur to be your full self, to realize the true authentic nature. And something that I've noticed in this entrepreneurial world is a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of leaders in this space have said, you have to be the authentic self.
Yeah, you got to do what you do best. And they may not want you to do what you do best. They're like, no, we've got this. This is what we want you to do.
This is the peg you're in. This is the hole. This is the peg. This is what we need from you. We don't need all that other stuff around you. We just need you to do this. When you decided to step into that full step, realizing who you were as Charmin, the abundance leader, the abundance queen, I want to say.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Yeah, right. Top of my head,
You don't have to steal that.
You are more than welcome to take it willingly. What was the first step in your journey? Like, what was it that decided, hey, this is where I need to go. This is my direction.
I wish I could say that it was, something real happy and all that good stuff, but that's not usually how that works, right? So I'm a nurse working on the floor, and I'm traveling to California as a travel nurse. and I got very ill out there, and made it through my contract and crawled back to Georgia. I live in Atlanta, Georgia now. Always have, actually, since I moved to this country. But when you're ill and can't get out of bed for weeks on end and you work as a nurse on the floor, you're in trouble. Like, we're talking eviction, we're talking your mortgage isn't getting paid, we're talking stuff. And I was in a quandary. Like, if I never am able, they're talking about lupus or rheumatoid or whatever. And when you're talking about something that chronic, you don't know at that moment what you're going to do differently if you can't do this physical job that you've been doing. And so it was that propelled me to have to look outside of the field of nursing and the field of physicality. It's, passive income streams, all of that. I was forced to look at it. And the first thing I started looking at is, who am I and what do I naturally bring to the planet? And people naturally always come to me for mentoring and coaching. And I wasn't a coach at the time. I didn't even know what it was. So while I was in bedridden, while the doctors are trying to figure out what they're going to do with me, and here we are 2 months in, the mortgage is starting and all the savings are dwindling, right? I'm like, I said, Spirit, there's something else going on here. You're not doing this for no reason at all. I don't believe that. And I didn't believe in woe is me. I'm like, let's figure this out. So I went and I became a certified coach. It took me 9 months because I took a really rigorous coaching program with the Life Purpose Institute. And that opened me up to a completely different world of really, who are you? Really, what did you come here for? Are you really doing what you were called to do and what you want to do? And I learned a lot of things during that time. And then the other good thing about going to coaching school is you've got to be coached. So you learn that your procrastinator came from somewhere. Your fear of rejection came from somewhere. Your money management or poor money management came from somewhere. No judgment, no shame, but let's be aware and let's fix it. So there was so many things happening to me at the same time during that time. Meantime, the doctors had figured out that I had CMV. It wasn't rheumatoid and it wasn't lupus. So they could treat me and they could actually help me get well. So it took me about 12 months to overcome the CMV. But as a result of that, I was able to get well and get my strength back. So I'm going to coaching school. I'm taking these drugs to get well and I'm getting enlightened. And as I'm doing that, I'm going, there's more to life than just working on the nursing floor. The skill sets that I had and everything else that I don't naturally use there, well, I actually was using them. Like I am mentoring and coaching my patients, and I am finding out internally what is really making them ill. Because a lot of people that present ill with a physical injury, it's something else going on, right? And I've always been doing that. And that's the reason why I was always a nurse that people wanted. I want that nurse again that I had yesterday. People would have to say, she can't take 50 patients, right?
She's one person. Leave her alone. Let her have some rest.
Right. But all those skill sets that I had been exhibiting on the floor that, quite frankly, I was getting in trouble for. Charmin, you're in this patient's room too long. What's too long for a man that's just had a heart attack and he's only 50 and he's crying in his room because his wife left him? He's dying he literally had a broken heart, right? Okay. His wife had left him and nobody knew that. Everybody's like throwing IVs at him and leaving the room. I'm like, listen, I just found out what's really creating him being in the hospital as long as he is. We need to address other parts of the patient besides just, right?
The symptoms.
Exactly. There you go. So that's what started my entrepreneurial journey. And it's because of that I have never backed off of it, because the entrepreneurial journey is not for the faint of heart.
Oh God, no, it's not. If I've learned anything in this 3 years that I've been doing this and over 500 interviews, it is not fun.
No,
but it is exciting.
It is exciting. And if you do it right, yes, you'll have days, weeks, months where you're like, I can't do this. I'm not doing this. I'm going to go get a job. It will spark again.
Mm-hmm.
it'll always go back to it because you're doing it for you, for the collective. So I've had, so after I got out of coaching school, like, I'm going to quit my job as a nurse and I'm just going to be a coach full time. Yeah. Okay. All right. Good luck.
Savings dwindle quicker than before.
I'm doing my websites by myself and I'm doing this. Oh my God, it's not enough hours in the day. And what I've learned is you got to be doing 50% on your business and 50% in your business. So therefore, yeah, figure that out. And if you're not doing that ratio, something's going to suffer, right?
Mhm.
But then how do you pay the bills too? If you're doing 50% on your business, 50% in your business, but you still got to make money while you're doing that, how does that work? And all these things that I'm telling you now, I didn't know back then 20 years ago. I know now, right?
Hey, it takes time to learn these things. You can't learn them overnight. Like, you can be told, like my audience is listening. They said, you have to work 50-50, right? Until you actually do it,
Right.
it won't work.
Right. Exactly. It won't work. And unless you've got help with people coaching you through these things, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. All this information is already here.
Mhm.
However, a lot of people reinvent the wheel. They stay in there, they're trying to figure this out by themselves. There's a lot of resources. Before you do anything now, go Google. Go and Google. Get ChatGPT, because there are ways to figure out some things so that you're not reinventing the wheel and spinning your wheels and quitting. I didn't quit, but I definitely would have to take some time off. Like, I would do 3-4 months of nothing but websites and podcasts and classes and this and that and the other. And I wouldn't get the ROI back. And I was like, okay, I got to go. I got to go do something else. Got to make some money. And I'm lucky. As a nurse, you can go make money.
Mhm.
But if you don't realize that maybe this is not the best way to do this, you're going to look up 10 years from now in the same place. Yeah, you got more content, but you're not that much further ahead. That's the real gauge, is how much further are you from where you were? And what does that look like? What is your goal? What was your original goal? And that's okay. You can always change your goals, right? In fact, you should.
Mhm.
You should change your goals. Maybe your goal was, I'm going to have 50 clients a month. Dial that back. Take the 0 off.
Yeah. 5 clients is more than enough. If I've learned anything, having more than 5 sometimes can be more than a headache than it's worth, and
Right.
we want you to
Right.
quit so much sooner.
Exactly. And the other thing I learned about clients is the client that pays you the most needs you the least. Nice.
I like those clients. Those clients are the best.
Those are the best.
I do want to know, like, how did you, because your expertise is both in biotech and digital wealth.
Yes.
So, and they're very different fields. If anybody
They are.
Very different. So how do you navigate the intersect of these industries, and what unique insights have you gained from bridging the gap between science and finance?
Oh, God. Well, first of all, I have a love for both. So that is the first secret. I've got a love for it. So, I love nursing and healing, and I'd always wanted to manifest a job in biotech. But, quite frankly, that doesn't happen. It's a very sought after field, very coveted, pays you very, 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 very well, but getting in is not easy.
No.
And I'm all about energy. So everything I talk about it from a standpoint of, it's because of my vibrational energy that I was able to understand and really start to hone in on how to play that game. And it is a game. So Florence Scovel's shown the game of life, right? That's one of my biggest, one of my books that I've read at least 100 times, and I listen to it at least 150, and I continue to listen to it. I do, because she keeps me on track. But once I learned the vibrational energy of money and of abundance, it's a high vibrational space. It sits at gratitude or above. 7 is love, 8 is gratitude, 9 is peace, 10 is joy and enlightenment. Anything below that, the results are not, you don't manifest the results you're looking for, or they're inconsistent. That's 20 years of me learning and practicing that and training other people to practice it. So that's just what that is. Now, back to biotech. Always, since I was in my 20s, 30s, I wanted to be in that space. And I never heard back from anybody ever. Once I came into the knowledge of spiritual law and I started practicing, my vibrational energy, keeping it up, being grateful, all those good things started changing for me. They just started shifting. So here I am now working as a nurse on the floor. Now I had learned a new process, which was apheresis. And apheresis, it's a machine that you harness the patient's white cells to make the vaccine. You make the vaccine with their own cells.
Oh.
First of its kind in the world. And lucky for me, I was on that wave. I was one of the only nurses that knew how to do it in the country. So that was just by, and I have been a coach now and, got this phone call, can you come learn how to do this new thing? And I was traveling and I was like, no, I don't want to learn anything new. I'm old. But because I'm a leader and they wanted to build offices so that patients could come and have this procedure done, they were like, Charm, we really need you to look and, consider doing this. Well, you'll build the practices, you'll travel to different places, build the practices, train the staff, and move on to another one. But you'll be able to live back in Atlanta, Georgia someday, where your house is. So this is what kind of finally they got me to rope me in, because I didn't want to do it, but I did want to go home. And I was stuck traveling because I made more money and my kids were in college. So here we go. I go learn this new thing and then I'm out here doing it. And one of the people come in to audit me. And when they come in to audit me, I've got the patient on the machine. I'm harnessing his cells. I'm talking to his family. I'm working. And the nurse that was auditing me that day to make sure everything, the clinic was going well and all of that, she goes, God, you're so good at this. She goes, we've got an opening in the company. Give me your resume. I'm gonna see if I can do the job right. So I'm like, okay, no, all right. So I don't do it. 2 weeks later, I get this call from her, and it's, didn't I tell you? That was, ouch. Okay, all right. She says, I says, well, I've never worked in the pharmaceutical industry and, listen, she goes, I don't want to hear all that. Just give it to me. So I said, okay. So I gave her my resume and she walked me straight into the company and I was hired immediately. That is how I got into pharma. It is a game changer, like 6 figures overnight, done. Company car, American Express, fly all over the world, done. But I've been practicing my vibrational energy for 10 years by now. So I knew that this, because I was already seeing miracles come in from all over the place. Mm-hmm. But the things that I had wanted to manifest way back then were now really happening in real time because I was really there and I was solid in it. So then, as a result of that, think about it. Now I'm here in my home office, right? And where I'm traveling and I'm meeting with doctors, but I'm in my home office. So I'm now exposed to a totally different world of stocks and crypto. I'm meeting people. I'm going to these conferences where I'm in the biotech world, but they're talking about the stock and this and that and the other. And I was really interested in that. So now I'm learning this information. And as I'm learning about stocks, I start learning about crypto. And as I start learning about crypto, I start getting into these forums and understanding more about crypto. So by 2013, I owned Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin started in 2009. Mm-hmm. It was, God knows, little and nothing then. When I got involved in Bitcoin was like 8K. Today, as of today, yesterday it was 63K, right? But I really had a natural love for it. It's like soaking up the information. That is how you know. That's another thing. Pay attention to what draws you in and that you could just do all day. So crypto and stocks and healing, because I only do biotech and these novel therapies. The first one was immunotherapy. with training, with training the immune cells to fight the cancer like it was supposed to in the first place, but can't because it no longer sees it. That's why cancer grows, because it goes unchecked by the immune system. This product, the only one of its kind, would actually retrain the body to see the cancer with your own cells. So, I launched it in Europe. I had the opportunity to do all of that, but this is all manifesting. I could never have done it. They would have thrown my resume in the circular file like normal. But you start to create, when you start to raise your vibrational energy, you start to manifest from a totally different space consistently.
Yeah.
That was what I asked the universe. Okay, I'm having these results. Sometimes they're okay, and sometimes they're not. What is it that's what I'm not doing, or what am I not getting? And what I understood is thoughts become things, yes, but that's just half the story. It's feelings that become things. So it's not good enough for you to just think it and it'll come to you. You got to be in a space where you can feel it. So when you get to a place where you start to see in your mind's eye what you really want, if you can't feel it, if it doesn't bring a tear to you, if it doesn't make the hair stand up on the back of your neck, you're not there yet. You're getting there, but you're not there yet. Yes, vision boards are amazing, but they make you feel good and they make you know that that is coming to you because you're going to manifest it. That's the secret. It's not just vision board, yay, everything on my vision board that I have ever put on there has come to pass. Every single thing. The house, I live in a 7-figure house now. The husband, I manifested a husband. The cars, I manifested the cars. The biotech job, I manifested that. The coaching, I manifested that. But I felt it. Like I could see it, but I could see myself there and I could feel it. Before I walked down the aisle to my husband, I actually cried when I saw myself walking down the aisle. I could hear the music, I could feel it, and I saw my boss walking me down the aisle. And I went to him, when my husband did ask me to marry him, I went to my boss and I said, a year ago, I saw you walking me down the aisle and that's going to have to happen. And he said, what? I said, yeah, you have to walk me down the aisle. I don't know why you were there when I saw it. That I can't answer. But I just know that it's you. And he walked me down the aisle. And so everything that I saw in my vision and everything that I felt and the music that I heard is exactly how it played out. And it was the only Saturday in April that didn't rain. And everybody thought I was crazy because I've got beautiful grounds. So I decided to get married outside, and I have everything already set up. I didn't have to do anything but have the wedding planner just make it pretty. And she was like, "You're crazy. I don't want to do this outside. Let's do a tent. Let's do this. Let's do that." I said, I would never manifest a rainy day. I would never. Of course, the woman thought I was cuckoo. Right? She doesn't understand it. I get that, but I do. So I said to her, if you're not comfortable, why don't we just find somebody else? But if I tell you that I see it very clearly, that my wedding day is nothing but blue skies and sun, then my wedding day is nothing but blue skies and sun the entire day outside. And it rained all night the night before. People started texting me. I didn't even look. On Saturday morning, it was wet. So they had to wait until around 11, 12 o'clock to even start putting anything up because it was still wet. But did it sunny all day, 75? Yes, by 4 o'clock, when I walked down the aisle, not a drop of water anywhere. You got to be that convinced. Now, it took me a while. It took me a while. There's no way I can tell you that 20 years ago when I started this entrepreneurial journey around abundance in all areas of my life, that it was just one night, boom, we did the vision board and it was good. No. I faced a lot of dark times and a lot of disappointments. But I was so committed to charm, because that's what everybody calls me is charm. I was so committed to charm and the abundance quest and my love for the collective. And I knew that this is not information that is single to me. This is for everybody. We're all part of this universe. the 8 billion of us that were lucky enough to come to this planet, we all have the same blueprint where we can manifest whatever we want to. We just have to know how.
I love that. That's a great way to segue into the Abundance Quest, which is the course that you've created for people to start down their journey into being able to manifest this. How did you decide that you wanted to create a course?
I didn't.
You didn't?
Decide. Spirit did that.
Ah,
I just started. Every time a miracle happened, and it was just, I told you, from biotech to crypto to whatever, I would record it somewhere. Or I would be awakened in the middle of the night and I would like, well, I'm already good. Why am I having to record this? It's not for you, lady. It's for everybody else. I'm like, oh, got it. And I could not do enough one-on-one, right? That's why the course, because I'm busy and the information is there and I'm coaching people one-on-one. I can't get to everybody.
Mhm.
And I can't always do groups. I love groups and I will continue to do them. But what about the person that doesn't have the time for that, doesn't have the money for that, doesn't have the resources? How do they get access to the information? So I did the course. So it's just a labor of love. The course is a labor of love because it's for the collective. It's for everybody that needs to get unlocked, because the Abundance Quest is not just about vibrational energy. It's about your money wounds. If you found to this day, under the sound of my voice, that you don't understand why you're not abundant in the way you want to be, and you don't get it, you're working hard, and you've listened to everybody, and you've done this and you've done that, and you still don't understand why. Perhaps you have a money wound from a child. Perhaps you developed a money identity as a result of the wound, and that was me. And I didn't know until you don't know until you know. I love that. You don't know until you know. So I didn't know that as a child, money was a source of friction and pain and absolute just discord in my house. It got violent over money between my parents, plain and simple, violent, to the point where my mother took my piggy bank that I had my little coins in and hurled it at my father's head and split his head open. That's how violent money was for me. In that moment, I was 5. In that moment, what I said is, I don't like money. I don't like it at all. It's violent. It's terrible. So I didn't realize that was imprinted in me, in my subconscious. I don't want to have anything to do with money. It hurts. I don't like it. It causes friction. And I don't. So I became what I call the avoider. There's 4 types, the 4 identity types. The monk, who thinks money is just plain evil. And I've met some of those people. They really do exist. The avoider, which became me, which I am now recovering. The spender, they've spent their paycheck 3 weeks before it ever got here. And the hoarder. And I just like to simply call the hoarder Ebenezer Scrooge. Think about him. He has it. He won't spend it, and he'd let a little boy die before he would help his own nephew. And you have a real love for your nephew. You would spend your last dime for him.
oh, yes, very much so.
I know, but the hoarder won't. See, so those are the money identities or the money types, and they come from wounds. And then you develop them. So if you find yourself in a position where you don't know why you're working as hard as you are, or why you're doing all the right things, and yet you still don't have the money that you really want to have, or you're living paycheck to paycheck, perhaps this is the issue. Once I realized I was an avoider, it was game over for me. It was game over. And this was 2007. So we're in 2024 now. When I found out that I was an avoider, I was like, okay, got it. This is from childhood, my subconscious. You have to rewrite your subconscious. You got to be aware. You got to wake up, wake up, wake up. This is not on you, right? This is a result of some programming, right? And then it developed into bad behaviors. And as a result, because it developed into bad behaviors, you share mouth. No shame, no judgment. Let's get that straight. All we want to do is get to your abundance, because it's yours. It's your birthright. It's yours. So I want my abundance. How do I get it? Okay, Charmin, you're an avoider. You don't look at your bank account. You don't balance your checkbook. You don't pay your bills because you don't want to see them. You don't want to see them, right? So you pay all of the fines and the fees. You keep America going, okay, Charm? You keep America going, right? All the interest rates and the fees and everything's good old Charm is taking America by storm and making sure that America stays in business. Enough of that. Let's do what we got to do to make that happen. And I met a lot of other people like me, but I didn't know that at the time. I thought I was, well, I didn't think I was the only one, but I just met a lot more people that say, oh, no, I never look at my bank account. I'm like, you do? Yes, sister.
Sister, Emily.
You know, and you start from there. So I started, I learned a lot of techniques that I put in the thing, but simply when you start to do the techniques, guess what happens? You start to develop a relationship with your money, a healthy relationship, because it is a relationship. See, I never thought about that. Louise Hay said, money is the easiest thing in the world to manifest. It pissed me off. Like, I turned her off and I said, I'm never listening to that woman ever again. But she was right. And of course, I had to go back and call on the law of forgiveness. And I still listen to Louise Hay to this day. She's amazing. But she is right. But it's hard. Nobody wants to talk about being broke. Nobody wants to talk about what's really going on. It's a secret. Nobody wants to, people pretend they have money. Money does so many things to people and their relationships because it's taboo, right? And that's okay. But now you need to be aware and do something about it so that you can have your abundance. And the only way you can do that is to face your relationship with your money. Face it.
I love it. I love it. I want to talk about investing in yourself because that is the premise of the show, and it is paramount, especially in entrepreneurship.
Absolutely.
How do you prioritize self-investment and personal development amongst your busy schedule? Like, how do you avoid? What advice would you offer to aspiring entrepreneurs looking to cultivate this mindset of continual growth and learning?
Quite frankly, it's first. Everything that I'm talking to you, if I didn't think of myself first, when I started doing my bank account, there's one checking account, you open up 6, and one is just invest in yourself, actually. That's what it says, right? Because you can name them whatever you want.
Yeah.
And with every single paycheck, and I do mean everyone, I don't care if it's only enough for the car payment. I don't care. You got to figure out a way to siphon off $5. So that means that in the bank account that you got it for food or whatever, because you got 6 that you start splitting up and putting your funds in. This is where you start to develop it. There's one for investing in yourself, and it's got to go in there. I don't care what it is. Just put it in there. No, it's not. $2 is not going to be enough to invest in yourself, but it's not about that. It's about rewriting the subconscious, right? So it's first. Personal development is first. And remember, personal development, you don't have to pay, right? So there's so much out here now that's free. You have no excuse not to develop yourself. There's no excuse, zero. I know that back in the day, when we had horse and carriage, it might have been harder. But now,
with a Google, we have YouTube University.
Yes, you have no excuse. You just need the determination and the drive to love Charm, love you enough to say, hey, Charm, I'm going to put you first. That's all the universe will open the way for you, but you have to actually say it and mean it and watch the universe respond. You'll find $5 on the street that you can invest in yourself. The minute you put the energy, what you put your attention to expands.
Mm-hmm.
Put your attention to you, even in thought. Just try it. Charm, it's about you today. Charm, it's about you this evening. Charm, it's about you tonight. What do you need? What do you want? What do you want to do? I'm going to read about stocks tonight before I go to bed. I'm going to do that. It doesn't have to be all of that, but it will pay off in dividends. Start to pour into yourself first. I don't care if you have to put it on your calendar. I've got it on my calendar. I've got it on the screen of my phone. I've got my affirmations on the screen of my phone that come up every minute. I have different affirmation. I have a different wealth affirmation on the screen of my phone. So when I pick up my phone, I see my wealth affirmation first before I even answer the phone. I don't care what you do, but you can do something. I love the commercial that they're doing for that, whatever, the exercise piece of equipment right now. And it says, doing anything is doing something, or something like that. It says, that's where you need to be. It'll get bigger and broader, and the universe will respond because you will expand. So whatever you put your attention to, like I said, expands. So if you put your attention on your job, day in and day out, and none on yourself, that's what you're going to get. More of that, whatever it brings you. My job's pretty cool. I like my job. So I put some attention on my job. I give them the exact time that they deserve. They're paying me a good salary. And then I sometimes have to do weekends or whatever, but I love my job. See, I've manifested now a career and a role that feeds me. I can be a coach, a wealth coach. My people know that. They look for me. Charmin, I need some mantras. I'm not feeling that good. My territory's not doing well. And I'll say, I'm going to treat for you. I'm going to do some mantras, and I'll send them mantras by text message. Say this mantra for the territory. So they know I bring myself. People no longer, I don't worry about that charm. Boy, she's a little weird. I don't worry about that. Right? It works. Everybody says we're number one in the country. We are number one in the country in all KPIs. I like to say I bring the charm energy to the territory. And everybody goes, it's Charmin. It's her energy. Everybody says, how do you guys do it? It's Charmin. It's her energy. She brings all that stuff that nobody believes in.
I love it. And Charm, you've definitely brought a plethora of amazing energy, positivity to this interview. And I'm very sad that we're running out of time. I hate this. One of the worst things about having a time limit podcast, and not a Joe Rogan style where we can go off for days, if you will. But since we are coming to the end, I have one final question for you, because I do have your 10-year-old self right here, Charm. She's a spitfire. I got to say, she is full of energy, and I've been enjoying my time with her. But what's one single piece of advice you would want to be able to give your 10-year-old self?
Don't let anybody talk you out of being who you are. I don't care if you're weird, and I'm a little emotional. I don't care if you're weird. I don't care if you're Pollyanna. I don't care what it is. It's no accident. That is your superpower. That is your superpower. You may not know it at 10, and you may be bullied at 10, but that's still your superpower. So if I had known that then, I wouldn't have tried to reject that 10-year-old for 20 years.
I love that. Wow. I love that. That's an amazing piece of advice. Charm, I'm going to jump off stage here. I want you to let my audience know where they can connect with you, where they can find out more about the abundance that you provide in this episode. So the floor is yours.
So, I'm Charmin, and my website is very simple. It's iamcharmin.com and theabundancequest.net. So you can reach me in both those places. You can email me from there. I'm on Facebook. You can't, and Charmin Moore Life Coach. I'm on Instagram. So any of those platforms, you can find me. And, I'm just here to co-create with the people that are assigned to me. That's all.
I love it. I love it. Charm, it's been a pleasure chatting with you. I can't thank you enough for coming on and bringing your amazing energy to the podcast.
Absolutely, Phil. I look forward to doing this again someday.
Oh, I do too. I'm looking forward to it. So to my audience, make sure you check out the links down below to connect with Charmin and the Abundance Quest and everything else that she has going on. Because if you found this episode enlightening or at least uplifting, you know that she can help you out a lot more. And I want to thank Charm again for coming on. It's an amazing conversation. I'm looking forward to the future ones that we have when you come out with more stuff. Because I know you're going to change my life in more ways than one than you already have. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Phil, so much for this platform, and good luck, because this is a wonderful platform.
Thank you. And remember always to invest in yourself.
Thanks for tuning in. Now it's time to take the next step. When you're ready to dive deeper into how to launch, grow, and monetize your podcast, Phil's got something special for you. Join him for a free webinar where he'll reveal the 3 secrets that have helped countless entrepreneurs succeed in podcasting. Click the link in the show notes to save your spot, and let's turn your podcasting dreams into reality.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.